Well, we haven't done one of these in a long time. What's up, everyone? It is Matt, and I am live for a real talk. It's been a really, really long time since we've done anything like this. Um, it's one of those things where, like, you're excited, but your heart's broken all at once. Um, because today, I gotta get my notes real quick. Today, we're going to talk about the WB sale and what that means going forward. It's not the proper notebook. Um, for the entertainment industry. Now, first and foremost, I do have to say I am not in favor of this WB sale. It is ultimately what I think going to be one of the death knells in cinema. As I've said always, I'm a huge proponent for the theatrical experience. I say that in my reviews. Even when I say I don't care for a film, I always say be sure to check it out in theaters for yourself. Some occasionally I'll say check streaming. But when this sale went or the agreement became public last night, my heart kind of just dropped. I I just felt broken. I didn't know how I would feel. And I took the rest of the evening pondering it. And then I spent a good portion of this morning pondering it. And ultimately, what I think is important to say is that Netflix has given me no reason whatsoever in my life to trust them. I think they put out some of the most shoddy content. And when they do put out stuff that is of quality, it's literally only towards the end of the year to try to get awards bait, and that's it. They'll start throwing money behind it. Be like, see, we support smaller filmmakers, and it just feels like it's for show. And ultimately, what I'm afraid of when it comes to this sale is what has been one of my favorite movie studios since I was young, putting out shoddy half-baked content. Now, don't get me wrong, Netflix has some of their hits. Actually, they have one hit, in my opinion, that is actual quality television. And that is Stranger Things. I know some people will be like, oh, but Matt, Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai. Hey, Cobra Kai wasn't made by Netflix at first. It started off as a YouTube Red, aka now YouTube Premium television series. So that doesn't count. They gave it a new home after YouTube Red was folding on their live television uh, just commitment. So when Cobra Kai became a free agent, that's how Netflix got Cobra Kai. So don't feed me the Netflix has Cobra Kai BS. At the end of the day, Netflix has had one real successful show that is absolutely stellar, stunning programming. Umbrella Academy had a great first season or so, and that fell off. They've canceled a lot of their television after a season or so. I remember the show that, funny enough, one of the Sydney Sweeney's first shows, Everything Sucks. People loved it, and it just was canceled unceremoniously after its first season. So, at the end of the day, Netflix is just a company that I don't trust as far as I can throw them. And there's a lot of red tape that this sale is going to have to go through, whether it be regulators or all of the different guilds and people speaking out against it. The fact that you have so many guilds just being like, "Hey, this this is wrong. Like we shouldn't be doing this, and they shouldn't be doing this." Tells me all I need to know. It really does. And I just want Netflix to really stop for a minute and think about it, because you're not here. You are simply here buying content. That's how I view you guys right now. You are absolutely unequivocally just buying content, and I really don't feel like you guys actually give a rat's ass about what you put out, which is sad because I think you had the potential to put out some of the best content, uh, especially with how you treat everything. So hey, but we're not here. I'm not going to be alone this entire time. I do need to find my notes because those disappeared. Um, but yeah, I have this whole thing written out about. All right, I want to hit these points, and ADHD, they vanished, as well as all of my stuff on my desktop. Apparently, that's not good. Um, so yeah, this it's gonna be a fun time. I really don't know what to do. Really don't know how to feel. I all right. First and foremost, the biggest threat I feel like we are facing as a society when it comes to Netflix and what it's doing is without a doubt the loss of the theatrical experience. Now, Netflix has stated that they will still release theatrical films, and I'm kind of upset that my computer is deciding to act up and all of my files are missing. Um, because I had something I needed to upload for this, and it's no longer there. So, oh, this is awesome! Just so freaking awesome. Um, shit. Don't. Oh my god! All of it went to here. I think. No, it didn't. I don't know where it went. It just all fucking vanished. Um, so that's great. No, I had a video I was gonna play of Dan Merle. He was speaking earlier. He did a nice little breakdown of everything. Where essentially he covered two things, and I cut out two bits specifically. Where he stated that Netflix was going to use YouTube as a way to help it get past regulators, but ultimately it might end up biting them in the ass because a few years ago, Netflix had said that ultimately YouTube is not a competitor to it, but apparently part of their argument to help them get past regulators is supposedly going to be, well, we don't have this monopoly market share. We have, look at YouTube. They have similar watch time. So now Netflix own remarks about YouTube are going to be turned around and used against them because while YouTube, features here, so cool. I'm going to add somebody else here in a moment. While YouTube does have this other market share, um, ultimately it is not going to have a a great chance of getting past these regulators because they are just trying to ultimately, what's the word I'm looking for? They're ultimately trying to put themselves in a position where, hey, we said these things, but we don't mean them anymore. And that's not what it is. And feature, you can just let me know in the private chat when you're ready to go because I know your camera's not on right now. So it's one of those things where it's frustrating, and what can you do besides be like, hey, this is kind of screwed up. And so is losing my notes. That's going to bug me for a minute here. No, can't hooked up at the moment. Bring me my number. All right, let me do this then. And I'm just going to change my settings real quick. Featured, you can go ahead and talk now.
All right, check. Hey, how's it going? Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Sorry about the delay. I was reading Spider-Man books and putting a child to sleep. However, yeah, on the bad news side of things, yeah, Netflix buying Warner Brothers is pretty nuts. It is like Warner Brothers themselves is a giant media company. They put together a lot of different like TV shows and movies for content creators, and so it's not only like a big gain for Netflix, but it would hurt other streamers. It eliminates a streamer with HBO Max as a competitor to Netflix, and it's going to make any other streamers like have like they're gonna have a hard time competing with Netflix now. The last time it was kind of like this, though, the streamers or other media companies all kind of got together and ended up making Hulu, which is actually going away here within the next several months, I believe. And merging, it's all going to be just under Disney Plus. So maybe there will be, I don't know, another deal between these other giant companies to make a like kind of all-in-one competitor to Netflix. Otherwise, yeah, it's going to be tough. The biggest worry, though, is physical media and, then also movie releases. Like, are we going to have big movies in theaters? Hopefully, with, the success of K-pop Demon Hunters and Frankenstein, maybe Netflix will be more likely to put these movies in more theaters. They had a very limited run for Frankenstein, and I think it would have done a lot better in movies if they had put a wide release. Because once it was fully out on Netflix, people watched it, loved it. It was great. I would have loved to have seen it in theaters, but it was just not really too available for me, and I was busy with work and all kinds of things. So the few times that were around and available, I couldn't make. But yeah, K-pop Demon Hunters, they've obviously released several times. I think 2, maybe 3 times in theaters already. So
two single weekend releases.
Yeah. So that what we had, it was Halloween, and what else? There was like
back in August we had
like a post, like just a random sing along stream that they did, and then they did another sing along for Halloween. So hopefully with them doing that, they see that there is benefit to putting movies in theaters, and it can make them money. So hopefully we keep that.
I mean, it made it's either 24 or 26 million in that 6-day span for a movie that's been on Netflix,
right?
For at the point of the first release,
yeah. Well,
on Netflix in May, and it was released in late August.
Yeah.
So
yeah, months later,
3 months it had been available, and it made
people still went and watched it.
Yeah.
So the movie obviously has heat, like we all know. Like they're winning all kinds of awards and slated to win possibly best original song and things like that for an Oscars. But we'll see what all happens and shakes out. But like, I really do hope, that maybe we're all worried. I also hope that maybe through the like regulation process to get the deal approved, they FCC, who I don't have like a ton of faith in right now, is like, hey, in order to do this, you have to like guarantee like X amount of theatrical releases or something like that. So that way they don't destroy the theatrical market, but I don't know.
Well, that's the
Because
other thing.
whenever like the T-Mobile Sprint merger happened, they made Sprint sell off Boost Mobile. So like they had to they can make contingency like requirements for the deal to be approved. So like I'm hoping that maybe something like that happens to like guarantee physical media releases and theatrical releases.
Oh, absolutely. And it's
Like
I
if
found my
if
clips cool.
if competitors like Disney and things like that um can't get the deal completely canceled, they should be pushing regulators to like have these certain requirements. So that way they don't, the theatrical market isn't destroyed. Theaters are already having a hard enough time, and if they go under, then we're left with nothing, and we all have to watch Netflix essentially. So it'd be a bad deal for these other companies where, like, obviously Disney has a pretty decent streaming catalog themselves now, but like they may still make the majority of their money off of theatrical releases.
Yeah. And that's something big we need to talk about, because a lot of people are like, well, they didn't stop Disney back when Disney did this with Fox. Well, this is also the second time this has happened now. Like it's not like this is the first instance. This is now what people are gonna know in regards to this, because ultimately, and I found my clips finally. My computer updated and moved everything on my desktop to my fucking OneDrive, and it's like, no, I did not want it in my OneDrive. So at least I got that back. I thought my computer had just done something else, and I was ready to flip out. But I just had to move all that stuff out of OneDrive and back onto the main desktop. I'm gonna play this first clip from Dan Merle, I talked about, and I don't know if you heard it, talked about a little bit of the position Netflix themselves has put themselves in regarding their own words potentially coming back to bite them in the ass. And
I've not seen this, so yeah.
so Dan Merle, fantastic movie reviewer and pundit on the internet, had this to say. Yeah, he did a nice 16-minute breakdown on everything, so I'm going to play this right now.
And some officials have already begun lobbying the Department of Justice to deny a Netflix purchase of Warner Brothers. Back on November 14th, before this really started to heat up, California Representative Darrell Issa, a Republican and close ally of the president's, wrote a letter to government officials saying in part, quote, "As you are aware, Netflix is already the dominant streaming platform in the United States, and permitting it to absorb a major competitor raises antitrust concerns that could result in a harm to consumers. With more than 300 million global subscribers and a vast content library, Netflix currently wields unequaled market power. Adding both HBO Max's subscribers and Warner Brothers' premier content rights would further enhance this position, reportedly pushing the combined entity above a 30% share of the streaming market, a threshold traditionally viewed as presumptively problematic under antitrust law. A further concern is that this consolidation would also diminish incentives to produce new content and major theatrical releases, evidenced by Netflix's own statements dismissing movie theaters as, quote, outdated, which could undermine opportunities for the full range of industry professionals, both in front of and behind the camera, end quote. While Issa has been an ally to the entertainment industry in the past, I think it is going to be very interesting to see how many politicians who may have openly wished for the destruction of Hollywood in public for the last several years are about to become fierce advocates for the theatrical experience in opposition to Netflix. Also, Issa isn't wrong here in that letter. But if the government is just now getting worried about anti-competitiveness in Hollywood, then I think they're a little bit late to the party. I think this potential deal should be given heavy regulatory oversight because I think that it is legitimately anti-competitive. However, I think it will get scrutinized in order to try to tip the scale towards Paramount, especially if this deal falls through, who would not get the same level of scrutiny. And that isn't right.
All right, so that was the wrong clip, but still, that's important to talk about. That's the majority I was talking about earlier. Where we are now in a position where Netflix is potentially going to have a damn near monopoly on the entertainment industry because of the library that that Warner Brothers has, on top of the market share that HBO Max represents in streaming. And that's really dangerous because I know Elizabeth Warren has come out and spoke out against this already, talking about like antitrust laws were put in place for things like this.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where she's absolutely right, because why are we or I should say, why are some people celebrating the fact that sure, Netflix has the money to put out more content. I won't deny that. But as I said earlier, I don't trust them. I don't know about you, Feature.
Yeah.
To me, Netflix has had one hit show, and it's been keeping that streaming service afloat. Like their own original hit show, not saved from something else, like Designated Survivor or Cobra Kai, but one hit show, and that was been Stranger Things, because most everything else they cancel after one fucking season.
Yeah, that is my biggest worry, like, because I think Netflix has produced some good content, but the issue is they still, like, they'll even have good content and then they'll, cancel it after one season. Like, they are, like, they don't give any kind of shows time,
To develop.
to develop. And, when you're a streamer, they're waiting for, like, they're looking at like boom bust, and things have to boom or else it's a bust to them. And they can't have like growth. There can't be like, oh, this show, started out like a little bit, but then like after like season 2, like it had a much, much larger audience because it spread by word of mouth. People were checking things out. Like, not all things explode like that. Like things like Stranger Things being a phenomenon is rare. So, like, it doesn't happen too often, so you can't count on stuff to be like that. And that's the worry for me, is that we're just gonna get all these, possible shows. There'll be one season, then they'll cut them and then just move on. And I don't know. It doesn't let any kind of media grow. Like, or they're just gonna use it and they're gonna make like garbage content with like all these IPs and just like mass produce things, and it's going to be, low budget. It's going to be kind of crappy. They're going to, I think Netflix themselves have been pretty pro AI, so I'm not.
Granted, only one studio that was up in the bidding was not pro AI, seemingly, but we'll get to that.
Yeah,
it's disheartening, honestly, because why are we putting one company in a position like this? And like somebody reminded me, they texted me, they're like, hey, they had the Netflix Marvel shows. Yeah, but Marvel came to them. That wasn't like, that wasn't, hey, we did this ourselves.
Yeah. And that was at a time when like most other companies, like, Warner Brothers, like Disney, like Comcast, didn't have streaming services.
Exactly.
And so they were like, they were looking for a platform to make a online content. They realized there was a market, and it was also kind of their way to test if their IPs would do well in a streaming world. Yes. And clearly they did. And then they made their own streaming platform, and then eventually moved those shows back to Disney Plus.
Well, not even that. They took them off the air completely. Be like, hey,
well, yeah. Well, they let the contracts run out, and then then eventually moved them over. But yeah,
it's just like, hey, the first seasons were great. Sequel seasons were meh. Outside of Daredevil season 3, I still contend that was the best season of Daredevil.
It was pretty good.
But every other sequel season of these series were very meh.
Yeah.
and it's just like I didn't even know Punisher got a second season. I think Jessica Jones got 3. But yeah, ultimately, like, yeah, we're letting the contracts run out. We're going to take these characters back, and then painted themselves into a corner because they decided to try to bring these characters in, as we've seen now with Daredevil, and as we're going to see with Jessica Jones and Daredevil Born Again season 2. Because originally they were just going to be like, we're going to do our variants of them, and then they couldn't figure out how to do it. So now it's like, no, we're just now making those Netflix shows canon like they were for years. So Disney pinning themselves in the corner in that regard. But yeah, Netflix, they've made their name off of licensing, and they are essentially trying to become the next Disney.
I mean, because in a way, yeah.
They're not looking. It's okay. We have our small little IP hits. I shouldn't say small because they're wildly successful ones like Stranger Things or Disney animated films. But they had their
Netflix's issue is that they had IP hits and then they take so long to put out any follow-up content that like their IP essentially kind of dies culturally. Like it just like it was how long between seasons of Wednesday? Like how long between
3 years?
Yeah, seasons of like the last couple seasons of Stranger Things, like
3 years.
Like,
it was like 1 year.
Yeah, it was 1 year, 1 year, 3 years, 3 years. Yeah, and it was just it's insane. And then now, what we got? Season 5. We got the first half in November, and then we're getting the second half. Well, part of the second half on Christmas, and then the last episode on New Year's Eve or whatever.
Which, by the way, are you going to see that in theaters or no?
I haven't decided. I honestly don't know.
Like,
I'm so split on it because I'm if this was 6 years ago,
yes,
when it was at its peak, I would have been like, fuck yeah. But
you can't sit here and say it's not at its peak when it crashed the streaming service on its first day back, or within its first hour back.
I mean, I guess, but
no, I get your point. And speaking on that, it's just like,
yeah, but to be fair on that point though, also Game of Thrones final season crashed it stuff and like had outrageous numbers, but also it's universally panned, so it doesn't necessarily mean it was good. It just means it was watched.
No, I didn't say I did not speak on the quality.
I will say I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it, but
that's all I'm saying. It still has the following.
Shout out Karen Wheeler, but if you know, you know. But
Karen Wheeler's badass. No, but it's
what a big moment for her. Honestly, what a turn for that character. Like I've hated her for so long.
Stop being the MILF drunk for 5 minutes.
No, she leaned into it so hard it came back out the other side, like horseshoe theory. She like she just went through. Like, yeah.
But no, it's and let's talk about this. We talked about they're trying to be this new Disney. Some of the IPs that they're going to be acquiring are Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings theatrical, the DC universe. They will now be the owners of Scooby-Doo and every other Hanna-Barbera creation.
Ooh, the Lord of the Rings thing is very interesting because how do they do?
They only get theatrical release Lord of the Rings films.
Oh, so Amazon they have to release them in theaters?
They can only. I don't know if they have to do it in theaters, but they have to be movies. They have the movie rights. Amazon has the TV rights.
Okay, sure.
So it's a really convoluted, messed up situation.
Do they even? Could it be just the rights to, like, stuff like the Silmarillion, or and then Warner Brothers has like Hobbit and Lord of the Rings?
They're all shared rights, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay.
And Taylor says no shot that Harry Potter show makes it past season 3 on Netflix.
No way. I don't think it makes it past. Well, I guess it's already been confirmed season 2 for HBO, right?
As someone who hosts a Harry Potter fuck J.K. Rowling podcast on this channel, season 2, while it is in the process of being written, does not have the official green light.
Okay.
HBO
So there's so all the news
wants
is
to
coming out
see.
because people are like hearing that they're already kind of in the works for it.
Yes, they're in the works.
Okay. They're
HBO
expecting there to
wants
be a season 2, but
the plan is for HBO to look back on these episodes
got you.
that are as they get completed or edited and everything, and
Yeah.
then if they like
And
what
then
they
make a
see,
decision.
greenlight season 2 while they're still in production on the rest of the show. That way, there will only be a small break in between them finishing season 1 and season 2, and they
Okay.
can go right in, and
That's
they can just
that's
go right
fair.
into it.
That's
So, and you talk about studios not doing well with streaming and keeping things coming out
yeah.
in a timely fashion. Props to Disney for Percy Jackson, um, because they're already
Because
working.
they had the best billboard out there.
Well, no, because so it only took them.
Did you see that billboard?
Yes, I did. But
What a
it's
nuts
fucking
billboard.
awesome. But no, because they immediately greenlit season 3 while season 2 was in production. So now season 2 is about to come out, and the plan is for season 3 to be out next December.
Okay.
So
See,
they learned because they're like, hey, we're supposed to be telling a story about a 12-year-old or 11-year-old till he's 15, 16 years old. And this, I don't know if you've seen the trailers for season 2. The kid already looks totally fucking different.
Well, yeah, that's the problem with having kid actors is like
Exactly.
you don't get a ton of time with
Stranger
them.
Things is doing like making
Yeah.
fucking everyone look like they're in their 40s.
Yeah, I mean that's what people in the 80s look like. They all just look like 40-year-olds, but like they all started the show as kids and now it's been so long they're all fully grown adults. Some of them have children like it's yeah.
But, all right, so real quick, I do want to talk about I think you and I have talked about this a little bit. There were three companies bidding for this.
Yeah.
There was Netflix, there was Paramount, and then
Yep.
there's who I thought was the best contender and made the most sense. I don't know how you felt about that, Comcast. I think you said you were on the same page with me.
Out of the options available, then yeah, Comcast was the
Yes.
best option there.
And
Paramount is
for
not
the theatrical side of things, Paramount was probably the second best option. And if being realistic, if not the best option, if you're looking at strictly theatrical.
Yeah, Paramount would have been better, like compared to Netflix. Like we would have not been worried about the elimination of physical and theatrical releases.
Exactly. However, when you look at the people behind Paramount, that's where you're like, no, I don't need you touching this.
Yeah.
But Comcast was my personal horse in this race. Out of the 3 horses we were given, Comcast made the most sense to me. For those people who don't know, I'm a big theme park enthusiast when it comes to parks that are built behind IP. And one thing, and I sit here and say, I love Harry Potter, but fuck with the Sorcerer's Stone behind me, but fuck J.K. Rowling and everything that she stands for. And that's why we take donations for A4TE, Advocates for Trans Equality, over on our Harry Potter podcast, Daily Prophet Cast. But at the end of the day, Universal, who is owned by Comcast, have to pay tens of millions of dollars every year to Warner Brothers and J.K. Rowling. Universal parks, compared to Disney, have been on the decline.
Yeah.
That's why they just had to open a brand new park in Epic Universe, and having just gone to it, compared to the rest of my family, I was kind of underwhelmed. That's just me personally, however.
What's the new park?
Epic Universe.
Okay.
It's a 15-minute drive separated from the other 2 main parks.
Oh.
So
okay.
You
get the drive. You have to book it. Yeah.
They have shuttles. You have to ride a shuttle.
That's awesome.
To get to that fucking thing.
That's hilarious.
So kind of weird, frustrating. However, the park itself is beautiful. However, but I'm not here to talk about that. Ultimately, attendance has been down in Universal parks. Universal opened Epic to try to make themselves contend with Disney more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you know what else they have in Universal parks?
Super Mario?
The Marvel stuff.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
So and it's only in Universal Orlando.
Okay.
So if Comcast had been able to pull off this deal, so for those who don't know, the main two parks outside of Epic Universe is Universal Studios Orlando
Hmm.
and Universal Studios Islands of Adventure. Island of
Okay.
Adventure has 4 or 5 different separate islands. You walk in and we'll go from left to right. So you walk in, you have their trading post area, and then when you hit the giant circle of just islands, you have Marvel Superhero Land. Then you have it's like the comic strip, which is like old comic strips such as Popeye the Sailor Man, Dudley Do Right, and like Betty Boop and things like that. Like it is that
That's
area
awesome.
is dated as shit. Still cool, but it's dated as all hell.
Yeah.
And then once you get past that, you get into your we'll call them kaiju beast because you have one Kong Skull Island ride, and not even the new legendary Kong. We're talking like Peter Jackson's Kong.
Awesome.
And then after that, you get into Jurassic Park.
Are they even able to? Because isn't that
That's
Lionsgate?
Peter Jackson's Kong was a
No,
universal.
Peter Jackson's they can't. But I mean, like the new one they can't, right? Because it's
No, they can't.
Lionsgate.
It's the new ones isn't Lionsgate. It's Legendary and
Legendary. Okay.
Warner.
Oh, okay.
But they Universal's working on a deal with Legendary right now, if I remember correctly. So I'm not going to dive into that.
Okay.
And after Jurassic Park is where you get Wizarding World. And after Wizarding
Yeah.
World, there used to be this walkthrough Poseidon's Fury adventure. It was really cool. Now that's just like a dead area. The only attraction there is closed. It's got a restaurant and a couple and a tattoo areas, and that's it. And then after that, you come into Seuss Landing, which is all the Dr. Seuss stuff, and then that's Islands of Adventure, right?
Okay.
If they had bought, and going back to this, Marvel, they don't make a lot of money out of the Marvel land because all of the merchandise, ever since Disney bought Marvel, there's no longer any ride specific merchandise. It is all just general Marvel merchandise. And Disney gets a massive cut out of the merchandising sales.
Mm-hmm.
Because Disney, as you know, Marvel themselves own all the merchandising rights to every single character, even Spider-Man, which is the main ride attraction for the Marvel Superhero Land, that and the Incredible Hulk roller coaster. So if you have Wizarding World of Harry Potter where you're paying licensing fees. You have Marvel where you're losing out on merchandising percentages of merchandising sales because of the fact you made a deal with Marvel before Disney owned them. Now you're giving your direct competitor money.
So fun thing, just thinking about it, like because you did bring this up, like thinking about their properties and things. Like if this deal goes through, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously then Netflix has access to this whole catalog. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix then has the opportunity to release 2 fully 100% complete films and make nothing but profit off of them because they've already been made and completed with the Coyote movie and also with
Warner sold the Coyote movie.
Oh, that's right. And there's possibly going to come out. That's right. They sold the rights to it. That's right. But they still could release Batgirl.
That's a possibility. But what I was getting at is the fact that had Comcast been able to pull off a deal, that comic strip area could easily have become Hanna-Barbera characters. Which, by the way, Scooby-Doo and friends, like they have the Mystery Machine, Fred, Daphne, Velma, Shaggy, Scooby, and the Universal Studios half of the park. So, like, there is, because what is now one of the Despicable Me rides there used to be a Hanna-Barbera ride back in the late 90s and early 2000s. So there is so much shit that Universal Parks, I don't know if you've ever been featured.
No.
Most of their shit is licensed. So I went through that entire Islands of Adventure side, right? Going over to the Universal Studios side. The only thing over there that Universal owns the rights to is the Jimmy Fallon ride, because that's NBC Universal.
Okay.
The Mummy roller coaster, the DreamWorks area, which is like the kiddie area, and it's got some like SpongeBob and Shrek and E.T. It has E.T. over there. And then did I say Despicable Me? Yeah, I think I did.
I think so.
Yeah, so that's it. Now the other rides in that park include the Simpsons ride. Who owns the Simpsons?
Who owns it? Isn't that Fox?
Which is owned by who?
Which is owned by Disney.
Men in Black, which is owned by Sony.
Yeah.
Transformers, which is owned by Paramount.
Yeah.
And one of the 3 Wizarding World of Harry Potter areas, which once again is owned by WB. Half of the shit in each park, essentially, except for Epic Universe. Epic Universe is essentially all Universal besides Wizarding World. Most of their shit is licensed stuff.
Yeah.
So Comcast, from a whole business perspective, needed to pull off this sale the most.
Yeah.
Because they could have scrapped some of their, as I think we were talking.
I mean, $83 billion is an astronomical amount of money.
But with the amount of merchandising theme parks make,
oh no, I get it. Like everybody should have been probably going for broke, honestly.
Yeah.
Like
it's as I said in the group chat earlier,
especially
Universal
big competitors.
Yes,
like Universal should have probably bet big on it.
Short-term pain, which is taking on all that extra debt.
No,
for long-term gain.
Netflix, the deal they made with Netflix does not pull over the debt.
That's insane to me.
The deal that they have is for like
I
forget what it is, but it does not pull over like the $15 billion of
which,
debt.
if I remember correctly, the majority of the debt goes to the TV side, so that makes sense.
Let me see. I had it in here. I was reading a tweet earlier that was
the CNN, the TNT, all of that. I'm pretty sure that's
was it Akash Gupta. I was reading his stuff, and he had a huge, long, in-depth breakdown on this long tweet. But basically said, Paramount offered $27 a share for Warner Brother Discovery. And Comcast proposed an NBCU merger, and Netflix offered $30 a share for just the studio and streaming assets, leaving declining linear cable networks behind.
And the cable networks are a lot of the debt.
So they're leaving behind $15 billion in debt.
So they're still taking on.
They're taking on some debt. But
it's roughly 50 because it was about $30 billion in debt total. So it's about
but it's not as bad as it could have been. These other companies, if they were taking on all that debt, like for the little amount,
but again, this is why I say short-term pain for long-term gain, because they could have owned DC, wiped the Marvel shit completely. Easy re-theme. The Spider-Man ride, where you're riding in a Daily Bugle newspaper buggy trying to get the story, that could turn into a Gotham ride. And now instead of being in a news buggy, you're in a police training car, and you're going around Gotham and experiencing something similar. The Incredible Hulk roller coaster.
It is interesting, though, because this leaves open, if they're not taking on the cable networks, there would be like CNN, TBS,
they can also be bought by
Food Network, HGTV. Like, there's a lot of cable networks that Warner Brother had. Cartoon Network, Adult Swim.
Yep.
Like they could, someone could snag those up still, and that'd be an interesting pickup.
I don't know if you realize this. Adult Swim starts at 5 p.m. at nights now.
I mean, I don't have cable, so
I discovered this on vacation. I have
you know what's very interesting though is you would think that adults or Netflix would want to pick up at least like Cartoon Network and stuff, because they're starting to do more live content. And if they did a live thing at 5:00 every night for like Adult Swim live, and they would just like play stuff live, you know what I mean? Like, I think that would be a very interesting I don't know. Like, but they're
But
not doing it,
they
obviously.
can just set up a live tab on the Netflix app and do the
I
same
mean,
thing
yeah, they
like
could.
Disney
They
does.
could. Yeah. Yeah, they could.
But think like you could have completely owned your merchandising if by getting all of those
But so much of
redeeming
Netflix
certain-
they like is like children's like child content.
It is, but
So
my
why
point
would they
is
not want to pick up those networks? That's
I,
crazy to me.
because Netflix doesn't believe in linear television model.
I guess they would have to take on the channels themselves and probably
Yes.
produce television content.
Exactly,
And not,
or
so they wouldn't get
put their
just
high-end
IP.
streaming content on on TV, which is the last thing they want to do because they don't want to put people in a position to where they can figure out ways to own it.
No, I mean, if I was them, I mean, there is that aspect, but then what you can do is you go, we're doing, Netflix night, and then they just show Netflix content on these different networks, and you try to draw people into your streamer through like the linear stuff. So you show like the first like 2, 3, 4 episodes of Cobra Kai or whatever on TNT, stuff like that, and then you just
like
do
Disney has
like
done
that.
at times. Like Disney has done at times for some of their other streaming shows that are underperforming.
Yeah,
they did it earlier this year with Andor. When
Yeah.
Andor season 2 is coming out, what did they do? They put season 1 on ABC.
yeah.
So
it would
I get it.
It's you have those things. So you have like free advertising to whatever, and yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it is like I see why they did it for what Netflix's ultimate goal is, but also I think it's a bit of a missed opportunity. So I don't know.
But that's what you say missed opportunity. That's why I focus on Comcast, because Comcast missed an opportunity to of the 3 companies, they should have been the one that went for broke the most.
Yeah,
because you would have gotten yourself out of so many fucking contracts by pulling off that sale and put yourself in a position to expand your parks and what they offer even further. You can listen. Sure, would retheming that Marvel Land allow Disney to open a complete Marvel area at Disney World?
Yeah.
Yes. However, you'd have DC, and if you added more rides to that area, it would make up for it.
Comcast does have the opportunity to still, like, other people can pick up the television networks.
Yes.
And you can see Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network being owned by Paramount, and they would own basically all of children's television.
Except here's the thing, they would have to decide what they're putting on it or license out stuff, because if the sale were to go through, stuff that so here when I was on vacation, our last day there, my dad just threw on Cartoon Network, because actually our first day on our last day, that's how I learned Adult Swim starts at 5.
Okay.
My dad just threw on Cartoon Network because it was like the only thing none of us really wanted to pay attention to anything. But the day we threw on Cartoon Network when we first got there around 5 p.m., King of the Hill starts at 5 p.m. and runs for like 3 or 4 hours.
Okay.
And then the day we were leaving, and it was early in the morning, we threw on Cartoon Network, and it's like an episode of each version of Scooby-Doo. Like, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? The Scooby-Doo show.
Well, that's gone.
What's new Scooby-Doo?
Scooby-Doo's gone.
Scooby-Doo Mystery and and that's my point. Like, and then it's Teen Titans Go. Teen Titans Go is like everything that's was
probably gone too.
But you get my point. Everything up until Adult Swim started was all old stuff of Warner Brothers. That's gone.
They're gonna have to go back to anime.
But here, I'm gonna play this other clip from Dan Morrell real quick, and that'll lead us into this next part I'm talking about, where Netflix may have shot themselves in the foot in regards to how they have approached going against this large conglomerate it's setting up.
Strap in, folks, because this is going to get ugly. One legal strategy that Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery are reportedly going to employ is a claim that streaming also includes YouTube, where we are right now, and that YouTube, with its massive market share, is actually the company's biggest competitor for views, making a combined Netflix Warner Brothers simply a large company built to compete in the streaming world with Google, not just other studios and streamers. There are arguments here that can be made for both sides. YouTube and Netflix are statistically very competitive when it comes to time spent on each platform, and YouTube is Netflix's biggest competition for eyeballs. But past Netflix statements regarding YouTube, when downplaying the competition for investors to help keep the stock price up, may hurt them. Executives in the past have often told investors that while they are competitive as far as watch time, Netflix differentiates itself with more high-value content, and that the two services actually feed off of one another. If Warner Brothers and Netflix do come to deal terms, you can expect YouTube to be a centerpiece in the legal fight over this merger.
Interesting.
I would have never expected YouTube to be what can completely throw this just for a loop.
Yeah. It is interesting to me that other companies like Google or Apple weren't in the mix for this. Like they're like we saw Apple go after, but we saw Apple go after other studios and things before. So it would be like, I just thought this would make sense. It would be another thing for them. So I don't know. Like, it's very interesting to me that just, I don't know. They just kind of like didn't, or if they did, it's not being made public, I guess I should say. They weren't the final three.
So it's been reported that the only ones that put in offers were the ones that we ultimately end up seeing.
Okay.
Hearing about. And the Saudis were about to put in
Yeah, I've got feelings on that whole ordeal.
Oh, you and me both.
Not just media, but everything.
But
hey, WWE.
But how do you feel about the fact that YouTube is going to potentially play a part in maybe keeping this apart, as well as the Ellison's relationship with Trump?
Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, there's
definitely a lot. We could potentially see. There have been rumors that if this falls apart, Warner Brothers may just ultimately end up selling off their IPs to the highest bidder, like different IPs to different places.
I mean, that would be crazy too. I mean, I'm trying to remember, like, Warner Brothers itself is like been around since like the dawn of Hollywood, hasn't it? Like, it's been, I'm trying to remember,
101 years.
Yeah.
102.
So it would be crazy if they were just like, well, we made it here, and now our executioner is David Zaslav, our owner. Like, like, it'd be crazy. But I mean, I guess, it happens, right? I guess that's the world of Hollywood. But yeah, I mean, companies like YouTube and stuff coming into play. I don't know if they so much, if YouTube would so much play a part. But I because I think the biggest issue is gonna be the antitrust stuff.
Yes.
And like it becoming like a monopoly. Like, obviously we've seen companies are gonna sue. They will take things to court. Stuff will get held up.
The unions.
Unions are going to, because I mean, Netflix is notoriously known for overworking, underpaying all their, not just talent, but like the crews of their productions. And then Netflix also is not transparent in the their streaming numbers and things like that. And
they
then
just say, this was our highest performing piece of content compared to what?
Yeah.
Just compared to our previous highest performing piece of content.
I don't believe the top 10 thing anymore, the top 10 TVs and TV shows and movies, because every time they're like, oh, new Netflix thing, like, it just is in the top 10.
So here's the thing.
They definitely weight it.
I can speak to that being true, because Taylor and I have a friend who is a Hollywood producer. His name is Alok Mishra. He's been all over this channel. He's on the first ever episode of Really Scared. And yes, he had a movie that ended up going, well, it's not a Netflix original, but it got popular on Netflix and lived on that top 10 for about a month, called 1BR. It's a horror film.
Look, I know, like, there are some things that can get on there organically, but I don't think that's the norm. I think Netflix weights their own content. I think it is not 100% organic, which we'll never know because we don't know their algorithm. But like, none of these things, like I'm like, no one's ever talking about these shows or these movies that are in the top 10 outside of a couple organic things like K-pop Demon Hunters or whatever. Like,
which
yeah,
we could argue maybe if it weren't for how the public reacted to K-pop Demon Hunters throughout social media, some would argue that maybe Netflix pushed it on younger audiences, just based off of.
Well, I mean, there would have been that argument, but no, they. I mean,
that's
they
what I'm saying. They
didn't even know what they had.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. If we hadn't seen the whole, just online craze involving.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it took off like crazy. So,
but it's. I want to talk about something.
I just don't think YouTube's going to have a huge factor in it. Just because
it's not YouTube itself, but more so what Netflix has said about YouTube that can end up biting them.
Okay, I mean, okay, yeah, but I guess I can see that because it's going to paint Netflix as a certain type of content provider,
exactly,
and then they're going to be the same type of content provider as Warner Brothers, HBO, Discovery, or whatever you want to. So like that stuff. Definitely, like they can't be like, oh, well, there's two different types of content.
Paramount Plus, exactly.
Yeah. They can't be like, oh, it's two separate companies and we're doing whatever. Now, people are going to point to the T-Mobile Sprint merger, but that was the third and fourth, like ranked like cell phone providers merging to compete, and they still have to sell off some assets,
right,
to be able to finalize the merger. So for the biggest streamer to buy probably like the biggest content creation house besides Disney, I mean, arguably Warner Brothers might be larger.
You're correct. You're correct.
Like they're and especially if you've telegraphed by not buying television studios, like in the television channels. You have shown that you're aiming purely for streaming and video, and yeah, that shows you're trying to like corner this market, monopolize, and yeah. Again, if it somehow goes through, I think Netflix and these other companies need to be prepared to possibly have another Hulu-like situation with a big merger. Or provide content under like one banner.
They've already hinted that
because the Paramount Plus app sucks balls.
Yes,
it's the worst possible app. It crashes all the time. It's the worst experience ever.
So
I watch it. I use it regularly. Constantly watching Star Trek: The Next Generation, and it is dookie. It's the worst possible experience on any app ever.
And so you want to know what's sad? I would say HBO Max is probably arguably. I put HBO Max and Disney as the two best UI streaming services.
100%.
And
they also provide the best quality of picture and sound.
Yes, they do. And Netflix has said we're going to fold HBO Max into our app. No, motherfucker, no.
I mean,
it should be the other way around.
Well, Netflix is the bigger banner for streaming, but the technology for HBO was probably better than Netflix.
Yes.
So hopefully, if it goes through, perfect world is that they're completely benevolent and we still get all the things, and then they also use the HBO technology to improve
their
Netflix.
Yes.
However,
highly doubt.
Will they? No.
Well, let's talk about the other biggest will they outside of the theatrical experience. And this is something especially important that I know you and I, and we had this conversation in one of our group chats earlier. The fact that Netflix buying Warner Brothers outside of the theatrical experience hurts physical media collecting the most.
Oh yeah,
and I know some people laugh it off. Well, like physical media has been dying the last few years. This, that, and the other. If you actually do your research,
Yeah, physical media
Media has been growing, exactly. Because people are getting tired of these streaming services and how different titles will bounce back and forth between streaming services all the time. So they'll go to one streaming service thinking it's there, but it's not. And then they go to Google, find out it's on this other streaming service that they don't pay for.
Yep. Anti-streamer sentiments is at an all-time high because of what you're saying, because UIs are terrible, because some people just really like to have special features and watch, but like the deleted scenes and director's commentaries and stuff like that. Yeah, I like doing that stuff too. And they don't exist anywhere.
I will say this. I give Disney Plus props.
Disney's been getting better.
Disney is the only streaming service I know to include special features.
Yeah, they aren't. I haven't seen any that do director's commentary, but they do have deleted scenes.
They have the deleted scenes, have featurettes, but you are correct. They don't do commentary.
I need a director's commentary. Look, if you can have a different audio language track for Spanish, German, French, whatever, you can give me the audio commentary with the director. Like you can do a different language track.
If you can give me a sing-along version of a movie, you can give me the.
Not only do we have a sing-along version for Netflix, they have a specific thing for K-pop Demon Hunters I just saw like 2 nights ago, where they have broken up into 5 episodes, just the songs clipped out from the movie. So you can watch just the song,
the music videos
of the music. So it's just music videos. So you're just watching music videos, and I'm like, honestly, brilliant. Also, what weird, very crazy, but kind of cool. But also, like, if they had, like Wicked, would they do the same for Wicked? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and here's the thing. What a lot of people don't realize, people like you and me know this, but that show you are streaming in 4K is not really 4K.
Right.
The only way to get a pure 4K picture is by using an actual disc or having the actual file for certain pirates out there.
Right.
But that is the only way you can watch a television show or movie.
Yeah, they get it. They can get it kind of close with like on like on like HBO Max and stuff, but even then the bit rate is too high and they don't push it through enough for like internet service and everything. Like it's just not fast enough to push through that stuff.
Which, by the way,
they could potentially do if they had like longer delays on streaming, but they just don't do. Like, just give us a load time of like whatever. But then I don't know.
Which, by the way, I don't know if you know this, Apple is actually the highest quality streaming service.
Okay, I can see that.
Because they have the money to just be like, fuck it, we're throwing this around, and they are the closest picture you can get to pure 4K.
It's the Microsoft effect, but instead of gaming, it's movies. Like Microsoft just has a crap ton of money from other stuff to like throw at video game stuff to like their like Game Pass and all that. So they can like take a loss on other things. So Apple's basically taking a loss by spending all the money on the quality stuff because it takes more server space. It takes more like data rate. It's a lot more stuff. It's a lot more money. So yeah, I can see that. That makes sense.
And that's just,
but
it's frustrating. But
it is.
I'm so afraid, considering how we all know how Ted Sarandos has spoken out against the theatrical experience. We all know that Netflix has flirted at times with putting their stuff out on physical, like releasing the first two seasons of Stranger Things on DVD and Blu-ray, and then they haven't released a single season since.
Yeah,
they put out once they owned Cobra Kai, they put out the first season or two strictly on a cheap bootleg looking DVD.
Yeah.
Like, they don't give a fuck about you as a consumer. So when I see people being like, oh, well, Netflix knows what consumers want, this, that, and the other. No.
It is very interesting because they were originally just like a
DVD
rental service. Yeah. Like now they're just completely anti that. Like it's very interesting to me. But I don't know. I mean, I am worried that obviously physical media is going to go away. They haven't been historically great with putting out their shows, like you just said. Like they put out like a couple seasons and then nothing. Like that's why I'm hoping if somehow this does go through, they make the like caveat that if this is going to go through, Netflix has to put out like a physical media version of the show,
and
you know, to do certain things. However, you know, Zaslav is a Trump guy. Like he's, pretty conservative himself. So
which is why a lot of people thought he would just bow down and give it to Paramount in the first place.
Right, but he's been aiming to sell Warner Brothers for long
years.
time.
Yes,
yeah, that's the whole
argument there.
The whole.
That's why they were consolidating all that, doing whatever they could to
everything
to
he
offset
has done has been to position
eventually
the company to sell. So the moment he got a big buyer like this, he is selling. Yeah, so yeah, because he's going to walk away with a big chunk of money if this goes through.
And apparently, he will still be CEO of Warner Brothers once the deal goes.
Wow. Okay.
And he'll just be working under Netflix. But no.
Sure, for how long?
And see, that's the thing. Like Sarandos has made it clear this is something we haven't talked about. The fact that he's hinted at, like, oh yeah, we're still going to release theatrical films. However, we do want to evolve the theatrical window. Hey, motherfucker, let me tell you something. Don't touch the goddamn theatrical window. Because Superman, that got released on streaming in, I think it was like August 30th, something like that. It was right before Peacemaker started.
Okay.
That movie still made like $500 million at that point. Sinners, which didn't hit streaming services, or which didn't hit HBO Max until July 4th, was a $400 million movie and was still making money in July, even though it came out mid-April. If you touch the theatrical window, and I'm going to share words myself and Kutso, he and I were talking recently, but before this news even came out, because Netflix has notoriously made it hard for anything to be theatrical. And even shooting their own films in the foot. Most recently with a film, Wake Up Dead Man, the third film in the Knives Out franchise.
Yeah.
They have fucked Rian Johnson over to the point where this man has essentially said, yeah, we won't be going back to Netflix if we continue this series, but we will find another home for it. Because he and Daniel Craig, who was a producer on the series, hated how Netflix dicked around with this film. The first time they did the film, Glass Onion, you got a 2-week window. All right, cool, perfect, cool. It was in essentially every major theater you could think of, right?
Yep.
Wake Up Dead Man has essentially only been available in small chains such as Silver Spot Cinemas or mom and pop indie theaters such as in our area, Cleveland Cinemas.
Yeah.
The only places you can see Wake Up Dead Man where Featured and I live are Silver Spot, Capitol Theater, and Cedar Lee, and Atlas Great Lakes Mall.
Okay. So yeah, basically every theater that shows any small indie stuff.
Well, no, because think about it. Cinemark shows small indie stuff.
Well, yeah, sometimes, but yeah, they usually are full with like the bigger box stuff. But yeah,
they are. But they bigger indie stuff they will. But you put it in some of the smallest theaters.
Yeah.
Because here's the biggest theaters you put it in were Atlas Great Lakes, because Atlas is a small local chain.
Yeah.
And then Silver Spot Cinemas. But Cedar Lee, Featured, you've been to Cedar Lee.
Yeah.
Most of those theaters are fucking room closets.
Yeah. It's a quaint little theater. It's fun to go to every now and then. But yes, the theaters are small. It is old. It is definitely dated at this point compared to other
Nick and I
theaters.
can't even sit in the fucking theaters half the time because of how
Yeah,
close the seats are to each other.
Yeah, they're very, very tight. It's very, very, yeah.
And like Capitol Theater, was it probably on their biggest screen? Yeah. But at the same time, there's only what, like 3 screens in that place?
Yeah. It's small too.
So like
yeah, no, I know. That's the thing that, like I said, I was complaining earlier about Frankenstein. Like Frankenstein was just barely put out. Yeah.
Like here, I had full transparency. Netflix sent me screening invites for both Frankenstein and Wake Up Dead Man, but I did not want to drive to fucking Columbus to watch them.
Oh yeah.
No Cleveland screenings, strictly Columbus.
Yeah.
I thought about it for a split second.
If I had the time, maybe, but like that's still so far away that like, yeah.
It's like, but like it was for Frankenstein, it was like October 15th.
Okay.
Is when the screening would have been for me. It was like a week and a half before it was hitting theaters. And a full like 3 weeks before it was hitting streaming. And Knives Out was like November 14th, I want to say.
Okay.
So that
that comes out on the December 12th.
Yes, which my review for it will be up on this channel on Monday.
Okay, cool.
But yeah,
we'll probably watch it on the 12th. It's the day after my birthday, so I'll watch that then.
Big 4-0. But no,
not quite.
Not quite getting there though. But no,
it's just like very close. But.
Why? But you would agree with me when I say this. Right now, Knives Out is one of the biggest tent poles for Netflix. It is one of the few franchises that just fell in your fucking lap.
Yeah.
And you did.
They've tried a lot of different franchises. They've tried to start a lot of franchises, a lot of things. Like they're still trying to get Extraction. They got 1 and 2. Then I think there's a third one in the works, and there's a spinoff I just saw that they had that's like in the same world as Extraction. That is going to be like it's starring a bunch of Korean actors. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. So it's got La Lisa from Blackpink in it.
Yes. So here, Glass Onion in 700 theaters worldwide.
Yeah.
$13.28 billion.
That was Glass Onion?
That was Glass Onion. In less than 700 theaters worldwide.
Yeah. Yep. No, I know. It was barely anywhere.
For 700 theaters, that's a large number for.
It's a lot of money for 700 theaters for sure.
In a 2-week span. Now imagine if you quadruple that.
I mean, you said it was how much? 13 what?
13.28 million.
Okay.
At 696 theaters over its lifetime.
You said over 700?
It's 696 theaters over its entire lifetime.
Okay. I mean,
so I'm just saying, imagine if you and the opening was 9.4 million opening weekend. So let's just do the 9.4.
It's not even as much as I thought, because I broke it down per theater. It's just shy of $2,000. It's $1,908. And then if you divide that by $15 roughly, I'm going to guess that would probably be the average ticket sale, blah, 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 depending on price or a place and stuff like that. It's 127 people.
Keep in mind it came out in 2022 when we were still working on getting back in theaters for anything that wasn't a superhero movie.
Also that too. That's a good point.
So, but still.
It's still lower. So it will be lower viewership, but yeah.
So, but here's what I want you to do. The 9.4, multiply that by 4. Let's just say it had gotten a full theatrical run. That is just under a $40 million opening for a film like Glass Onion, which probably cost $40 to $50 million is my guess.
I mean, I I would hope so. But
It was a 40. It was a 40, I just looked it up, a $40 million budget.
Okay. Because I was gonna say it's definitely that range historically. I just don't know what. Yeah.
So Netflix could have made its entire budget back in a single weekend had it given it a full release, hypothetically.
That's true.
Because if,
and again, we don't know the numbers it did. We only have like what we can guess at, right? But I mean, it we know it did well. Like it had to have, right? Well enough for Netflix, who is just prudish as hell and won't greenlight anything, to greenlight a third one. Come on.
No, it was, remember, the deal was,
but they would go back.
It was 2 sequels off rip and paid Rian Johnson $469 million.
Yeah.
So realistically, they paid $500 million plus whatever the budget of Wake Up Dead Man was for 2 films.
Okay. Fair.
So $550 million just for the rights for 2 films, and then to make them and release them on their service.
Which again goes towards they don't plan to release stuff in theaters.
Yes.
Yeah. If they do it, like I said, there needs to be a caveat to be like, you have to release your, like, movies or things in like one of the top 3 theater chains, right? Whether that's was it AMC, Cinemark, or Regal. So you could make that caveat, like, to make them, force them to do something like that. Like, there's a lot of power they have. We'll see what they do. I don't trust
Netflix.
I don't trust the current administration to actually do anything to help the consumer either. So I don't know.
This case, because of his friend,
I know.
I think he might, and I will be shocked.
Yeah, but all it takes is someone to walk in and just start schmoozing and kissing his ass a little bit. You do it for a day, and he'll love it. He'll eat it up, and then you just stay quiet until he pushes the deal through, and then.
But also, when Republicans and Democrats are speaking out about it,
yeah. Well, that's because they all want the Paramount deal. They're all probably being influenced by various, Saudi oil lobbyists. So, yeah, that's a whole convoluted chain of things going on.
And I don't know if you saw the reports that Paramount is not giving up.
Oh no,
they might be doing a hostile bid.
Oh, that'd be insane. I mean,
so here, this is from CNBC.
You know what? I wonder if that was like Netflix's like plan all along, is like they'll like, this won't go through, but we'll just say some astronomical number that like sort of seems feasible.
If it weren't for the fact that they're going to pay $5 billion if the deal doesn't go through, I'd agree with you.
Yeah, so but like, you pay $5 billion to possibly prevent them from not doing it. You hold it off for a couple years until like possibly a more liberal administration comes through, and they would be much more heavy on preventing anything. So you might be able to play long game and just play chess and like play the bad guy right now, so that way you can save things for the future. Like, who knows?
So here, this is from CNBC about Paramount's hostile play. Elton has wasted no time at the helm of Paramount Skydance, transforming the company through deals and acquisitions. Since the merger closed in August, Paramount has brought on C-suite executives and high-profile Hollywood talents, such as the Duffer Brothers. It secured the rights to develop live-action feature films based off of Activision's Call of Duty and struck a $7.7 billion deal for UFC's rights. Ellison's hunt for Warner Brothers Discovery was his biggest endeavor since taking control of the company. Paramount's lawyer sent a letter to Warner Brothers claiming this week, first reported by CNBC, claiming the sale process had been rigged in Netflix's direction. Paramount has accused Warner Brothers Discovery of failing to properly consider its offer of $30 all cash, and instead selling to Netflix as a predetermined outcome. Netflix made an initial bid for Warner Brothers Discovery studio and streaming assets of $27 a share, according to a person familiar with the matter. That trumped Paramount's offer at the time and turned the trajectory of the sales talks in Netflix's direction, said the person, who was asked not to be named because the discussions were private. Paramount was the only bidder interested in acquiring all of WB's assets, the film studio, streaming service, and TV networks. It has maintained that its offer is superior. Paramount's executives and advisors value the Discovery Global Networks portfolio at close to $2 a share based on its predicted trading multiple and estimated leverage ratio, according to people familiar with the matter who asked not to be named because the discussions were private. Discovery Global would include the CNN, TNT Sports, and Discovery channels. Warner Brothers Discovery believes Discovery Global could have a value of $3 a share or more if it trades well in public markets, according to other people with direct knowledge of the matter. Paramount has also argued that there are tax efficiencies for shareholders in acquiring the whole company rather than buying only a portion of it, and that Netflix's bid comes with steeper regulatory risk. The Trump administration's view of the proposed combination is one of heavy skepticism. Paramount offered a breakup fee of $5 billion if the proposed deal didn't get regulatory approval, according to people with familiar. Netflix's bid included $5.8 billion breakup fee in case the deal didn't go through regulatory approval, according to the Securities and Exchange Commission's filing Friday. Paramount is now weighing its options about whether to go straight to shareholders with one more improved bid, perhaps even higher than $30 per share, all cash, submitted to WBD by the end of this upcoming week. If it does, Netflix would have a chance to match that bid. The end result would mean even more money for WBD shareholders and more money for Zaslav.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, it's possible. We'll see how much money they want to drop. There's a lot of money there that they can throw at it. So we'll see. I mean, wow, what a thing. I mean,
hostile takeover.
It would be very interesting. I do think that it's hilarious that UFC is at Paramount, right? They have the rights to it, and WWE is at Netflix
and ESPN and Peacock. I still believe it's between three.
What is
WWE?
Oh, because of the other, yeah. However, but with them being on that means TKO is on both sides of this.
Yes.
And like there's like whatever, either way. Like
and you're not even factoring in the fact that Warner Brothers has the streaming rights to AEW.
Yeah. Which is also very interesting.
So
yeah.
That's all sorts of
fun. It would be interesting because like how does like it would then get into like weird stuff with like the contracts of those companies like AEW and WWE or whatever, and I wonder if they have some sort of provisions where they can't, like the streamer can't acquire a competitor or something, and if so, like they would probably break, I'm assuming, the AEW contract because WWE would be the bigger brand, but it'd be interesting.
Interesting to say the least.
Like, I don't know what the language is of those contracts, or I don't know if they're public or anything, but like, yeah. There's a lot of possible legal crap to happen.
There is, and we'll probably do updates over here over the next.
Yeah, this is another 2 years in the making, easily.
At minimum, because if lawsuits and whatnot drag this out, this could go for years and years and years, and we may never see Netflix own them until 5 years down the road officially if they were to pull something off.
Right.
So I really don't know what to expect from all this. It's a crazy world we're in right now.
I mean, I imagine that they would actually probably solve or have to solidify the merger, or they would aim to solidify it before the next political administration would come in, just in case the next administration comes in and then like would like be further restrictive with regulatory stuff. So they'd probably want to do that. So even if it like talks take a while, I imagine like the little finalizing of things would happen quick once like we get like the ruling on stuff. Because they'll probably have things like ready to knock over like dominoes once you know the approvals are done. If it takes too long, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because sure, things are still going to be like figured out and negotiated for those first, you know, and figured out consolidation and like the structure of the companies and everything for like the next like year or more. And then if court battles take that long, yeah, they'll be ready to drop it instantly.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
You're all good. Feature real quick.
I'm allergic to their bullshit. You know.
But no, I want to thank you for joining me for this.
You're welcome.
We covered a lot, and I did not expect this to go almost an hour and a half.
I can talk. So
can I. And considering I somehow lost my notebook that had all of the notes of the points I wanted to hit on this, I was like, the ADHD spit, like negative spin was about to hit me hard.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, no, it was literally here. Where did it go? How? And it's like,
is it on that whiteboard behind you? Is that the list?
It was literally a notebook, and I had it turned to the page, and the notebook is gone. Like, just gone.
You're gonna find it in like 3 days.
And no, that's exactly what I thought. I'm like, what the hell? No, this was for one of our last wrestling streams. I was keeping track on. Keeping track on match wins.
Oh, gotcha.
I think it was 2 streams ago, before that fatal card was played.
Yeah, I've had a lot.
Yeah.
Check out Real Gaming.
Real Gaming. Yes, Watt Real Gaming. You can see him in the chat. Content. At Watt Real Gaming on I almost said Facebook. On YouTube, you can go check them out there. That's where all the Twitch streams go to live after the fact. This stream won't go there, even though we are live on Twitch currently. So that's nice. And yeah, so be sure to check that out. Check out the Daily Propcast, our monthly Harry Potter podcast I do with Omri Moses, where we still say fuck J.K. Rowling, but we do
seriously, fuck J.K. Rowling.
Yes. As fans of the series, it's hard for us, especially at this point in our lives, to just totally separate from it. So we do our best to make sure people know we don't stand with J.K. Rowling. We take donations to fight against the cause that she doesn't believe in and we do believe in. And we talk about what makes the artists involved with those series great and what makes the series meaningful, even though the person behind it is a piece of shit. I think that's the perfect way to cover that wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say.
And then check out everything we do over here on Marvel Entertainment. My review for Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is up. Trailer reaction for Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. Why they put 2 in the middle of that, I have no idea. You could have just called it Ready or Not, Here I Come.
Yes, you could, because they called it Now You See Me, Now You Don't, and instead of Now You See Me 3.
Yes. And this upcoming week, you will see reviews for Avatar, Fire and Ash, and Wake Up Dead Man. So you can go check those out also. Feature, where can the good people find you?
I mean, you can find all my like catalog of stuff I had done on YouTube with at Featured Films on YouTube, or that's on YouTube. Otherwise, I'm always on Twitter. You just find me at Featured Films _ because the account at Featured Films is taken and has been inactive for about 8 years, but no like usernames actually go dead and then like get reusable, even though that was like one of the main things Elon Musk had talked about whenever he was taking over Twitter, is he said he was going to make like unused usernames become reusable. So I was like waiting for that to go through, so that way then I could claim the at featured films username, but nope, it's still out there. They're all still active, and I hate it. I just want to get rid of the underscore. But yeah, at featured films underscore on Twitter.
All right.
Sorry about the long story.
You're good. You're good, dude. With that, folks, thank you for tuning in to this special Real Talk. I'll probably bring on featured as and potentially others to talk about the subject more and more over the next coming months as we dive more into this. But until then, we will see you next time.
Adieu, adieu. Parting is such sweet sorrow.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.